Hey guys, it's Miss Caceres. Hope everyone's doing well. So, as you know, this week we are going to be focusing on poems again. And we're going to be reading a poem entitled The Drought, written by Amy Helfrich. Now, our essential question for Unit 3 remains the same. What does it mean to be in harmony with nature? We're going to start with our quick start activity. The poem we're about to read explores a farmer's response to a drought, which is a long time without a rain. Think about how a drought might affect a farmer and jot down some ideas, and then we'll discuss them as a group. So maybe list out 5 ways how a drought can affect a farmer. Once you guys have done that, we are going to analyze sonnets today because the poem we are going to be reading is a sonnet. The form of a poem is the arrangement of its words and the lines. One form of poetry is a 14-line poem called a sonnet. This originated in Italy, but was altered by English poets, especially William Shakespeare. There's even something called the Shakespearean sonnet. As a result, the following 2 traditional styles of sonnets emerged: the Italian sonnets and the English or Shakespearean sonnets, as I mentioned before. Here are some characteristics of each, but before we look at that, let's take a look at the genre elements in poetry. It includes a core unit called a line, that can be a complete sentence or a part of a sentence. It uses carefully chosen words and sounds to express an idea and to create a mood, and it may include rhyme and meter, which we'll also be talking about later on today. So a Shakespearean sonnet may have these following characteristics. It develops a single idea. Its idea is developed in 3 parts, which is made up of 4 lines. Final pair of lines are called a couplet, which offers a sharp, insightful conclusion and a shift in the emotion. Now, for an Italian sonnet, it develops a single idea or a problem. The idea or problem is laid out in the first 8 lines of the poem, and the resolution appears in the last 6 lines. Now, these 2 kinds of sonnets differ in the use of their rhyme as well. A traditional sonnet has a specific meter or a pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables. Often the pattern goes da-dum, 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 which is the rhythm or pace of the poem, which is influenced by the meter. Because meaning in poetry is expressed as much by sound and rhythm as by word choice, any variation in meter can impact the meaning. Rhythm and meaning are also affected by graphical elements, such as, punctuation and capitalization, which is very different when it comes to a free verse poem, where in reality there are no graphical elements. Notice the rhyme, word choice, and use of graphical elements in these lines from The Drought. What idea is developed in these lines? And see what he can salvage from the dust. The season's bitterness has starved his grain and left the soil with nothing but a trust that time will make a friend out of the rain. Note how the poet uses graphical elements, word choice, and rhythm to express emotions and develop ideas in this short piece that you see here. So I thought it would be interesting if you guys watched a quick video on 4 facts that you need to know about sonnets.
4 facts about sonnets. Sonnets were first written as love poems. Invented in the 13th century, they didn't take root until 14th century Petrarch became the first major sonnet writer. 200 years later, William Shakespeare took Petrarch's similar form and wrote 154 sonnets and became one of the most prolific sonnet writers in history. Today, we still use his style as sort of the English form of writing sonnets. Today, people still write sonnets, but there's also different versions. Ultimately, everybody who writes a sonnet typically writes them as a love poem. Sonnets consist of 14 lines divided into quatrains and a couplet. A sonnet has 14 lines. Each quatrain is 4 lines. It has 3 quatrains, that's 12 lines. The last 2 lines are the couplet. So a typical sonnet will have quatrain 1 with 4 lines, quatrain 2 with 4 lines, quatrain 3 with 4 lines, and then the last 2 lines is a couplet. Each quatrain typically speaks on a different idea, while the couplet often speaks to the theme of the poem. Sonnets have unique rhyme schemes. And a rhyme scheme is determined by the final sound each line makes, and we designate a letter for each sound. In quatrain 1, you have 2 sounds that alternate, A, B, A, B. In quatrain 2, you have 2 different sounds that also have the same alternating pattern, C, D, C, D. Quatrain 3, the pattern continues, E, F, E, F, and then the couplet, the last 2 lines, both lines rhyme with the same sound. So your rhyme scheme is A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G. And this is typical of the English style. Sonnets use iambic pentameter as its meter. Meter is the rhythm of the stressed and unstressed syllables in each line. An iamb is one unstressed and one stressed syllable. We call that a foot. Pentameter means that there's 5 feet per line. In other words, every line has 10 syllables. Well, what's the difference between stressed and unstressed syllables? Well, it's the difference between ice cream and I scream when we don't have any. You see, you put the stress on the I when you talk about ice cream, but when you talk about I scream, the stress comes in the word scream. So even though it's the same sounds, the stress tells us what it actually is. Let's take a look at a line from William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? Every other syllable is stressed. Soft, light, and in this case the first syllable of yonder, ya, and the first syllable of window, win, as well as the word break. So in this case, every other syllable is stressed. That is iambic pentameter. So, are you knowledgeable about sonnets? If so, go take the concept check. If not, go back and review the video. Ultimately, you need to finish the concept check so we can get on to our first sonnet, Sonnet 18.
So just to give you guys an idea of the importance that goes into sonnets, and as you guys can see, they also mentioned the rhyming scheme, which was our next topic. A rhyming scheme occurs when 2 or more words end up with the same or similar sound. It is the sound, not the spelling, and I can't emphasize that even more, that matters. For example, right, height, megabyte. All rhyme. Even though they're written differently, they have the same sound. In poems, rhyming words usually appear at the end of lines, so they are called end rhymes. A rhyme scheme is a pattern of end rhymes in a poem. You can keep a record of the rhyme scheme in a poem by assigning a letter of the alphabet, A, B, C, and so on, to each end rhyme. Lines with the same end rhyme get the same letter, as shown in this example, which are the first four lines of a sonnet. At night I stand and watch the stars on high, and think of how they twinkle far away. I wonder if somewhere in that array there stands another watcher of the sky. So as you can see, the pattern is A, B, B, A. The rhyming scheme of these lines are A, B, B, A, and the rhyming scheme helps identify if it is an Italian sonnet, which has a rhyme scheme of A, B, B, A, B, B, A for the first 8 lines, and either C, D, C, D, C, D, or C, D, E, C, D, E for the last 6 lines. A Shakespearean sonnet has a rhyming scheme of A, B, A, C, D, C, D, E, F, G, G, as explained in the video that you guys watched before. So I hope this was helpful, and I can't wait to see what you guys think about reading your very first sonnet. I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.